Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and a faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interest you've committed to our charge. Amen. Next order.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, there is a communication that is concerning the CASA Games for 2024. Honorable members, the CASA Games for 2024 are scheduled to take place in September this year. The theme for this year's games is fostering inclusivity and diversity in county sports and cultural events. Honorable members, you are required to continuously do your thorough practice and exercises, since without vigorous training and commitment, success won't be achieved. Honorable members, for smooth running of the said training, you are asked to liaise with the sports discipline coordinators, and for those who have not yet registered, to do so with the coordinators as follows. For football, Joshua Ngatia. For volleyball, Daniel Koskei. For netball, Vivian Kanana. For swimming, Catherine Kahasho. Pool table, Nimrod Amdani. For darts, John Mwago. For Scrabble, Alice Kamau. For drafts, Henry Chilchir. For squash, Yvonne Dunga. For chess, Anne Wangoi. For Ajua, Eric Kibari. For badminton, Martha Alwanga. For athletics, Vincent Kutol. For table tennis, Sami Masharia. And for choir, Anne Mushemi. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
There are no messages. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
There are no petitions. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
There are responses to statements. And the first response will be done by the chairperson. Committee on Youth, Gender and Social Welfare, concerning county employees who are either on interdiction, suspension, or dismissal from service. The Honorable Grace Mwathi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. My name is Grace, Chair for Gender, Labor, and Social Welfare, and I'm here to respond to a statement which was requested by Mheshimiwa Wadhiai. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Wadhiai Macharia, MCA Shaba Board, during a plenary sitting held on Wednesday, 12th June 2024, requested for a statement from the Chairperson, Committee on Labor, Gender, Youth and Social Welfare concerning county employees who are either on interdiction, suspension, and dismissal from service. In the statement, the member sought to know the following. Number one, the total number of employees who are under suspension or interdiction. Number two, the number of those reinstated since 2023, indicating dates and reinstatement. Number three, the number of employees in court as a result of interdiction, suspension, or dismissal. And number four, the number of those who have been dismissed from service since 2023. Honorable Speaker, the committee, after receipt of the request, wrote to the CCM, Public Service Devolution, Citizen Engagement, Disaster Management and Humanitarian Assistance, void letter reference CAN/CS 31031, dated 3rd July 2024. In her submission, the CCM forwarded the following. Number one, 138 employees are under suspension or interdiction, and there is reason for the same. Number two, 82 employees have been reinstated since 2023 with dates of reinstatement. However, she noted that the total number of employees that were in court as a result of interdiction, suspension, or dismissal because of the county attorney had not submitted the report. Further to this, there are no employees that have been dismissed since 2023. Attached here is the total number of the employees indicated in number 1 and number 2 above. To this end, I hope the member who requested for the statement is adequately informed. And Mr. Speaker, sir, we have forwarded the names and furnished the document to the person who requested for the statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The Honorable Member who had requested.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say that the Committee on Labor has really done a wonderful job, and I'd like to commend their report, though not exactly what I expected, Mr. Speaker, because as they are saying, 138 members were suspended and 82 were reinstated. So, Mr. Speaker, probably I would have liked to know if from the 138, are these 82 who have been reinstated among the 138, Mr. Speaker? So from their report, you cannot get that information. And there is this issue of those staff who are in court, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I did not expect the committee to come here and tell us that the county attorney has not given that report to the CC for them to be forwarded here, Mr. Speaker. This is something that should be already with the Human Resource Department of the County Government of Nakuru, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say that though they have submitted their report, I'm not fully convinced that it has taken care of everything that I had asked for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. So you are partly contented and partly discontented. Now, the first part that you sought to know, it's whether the 82 employees, those that have been reinstated since 2023, are part of the 138. You've gone ahead to say that there is a report that has not been submitted by the county attorney. And so we are going to allow the chairperson to clarify on that and possibly give a date when the missing report from the county attorney can be availed to this honorable house. The chairperson, Committee on Labour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. As I have read, the county attorney has not submitted his report, and when he does so, Mr. Speaker, sir, we shall bring it here and we shall furnish the House and Mheshimiwa Wadhiai with the information. Again, about the 138 employees who are under suspension and the 82 employees who have been reinstated, 82 are in the 138, yes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would like to have a specific timeline, whether it's 1 month, whether it's 3 weeks, whether it's 1 week. When now, because if we say that such a time that when the county attorney avails the report, it could be either 1 year, 2 years, 1 week, 1 day. Are you able to say, like, what time are you looking at as a committee?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are requesting for 21 days.
Thank you. That will be availed. That is noted. There is another response by the Honorable Chairperson, Committee on Implementation, the Honorable John Mwangi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I am John Mwangi, the member for Turi, as well as the Chair Implementation Committee. So I'm here to give the response in respect to the statement which was being requested by Honorable Joseph Mulaya. Honorable Speaker, during a plenary sitting held on Wednesday, 18th October 2023, Honorable Joseph Mulaya sought for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Implementation concerning the implementation status of all House resolutions since inception of the Third Assembly. In the request, the member sought for response on the following. Number 1, the implementation status of all House resolution, including adopted committee reports, petition reports, motions, and budget implementation status since inception of the Third Assembly. Number 2, the plans the implementation committee is undertaking to avert challenges in the implementation of all House resolution in future. Honorable Speaker, while interrogating the above request for statement, the committee realized that House resolutions are enormous and could not be responded to as a unit. The committee therefore resolved to tackle one resolution at a time. Attached herein is the implementation status report of the County Act since 2013 to date. Honorable Speaker, I would also wish to ask the committee chairpersons of all the respective committee under which the acts lie to further engage the respective departments in a bid to ensure the acts are fully operationalized. The committee is still in the process of interrogating other House resolutions, including adopted committee reports, after which implementation status report on the same will be issued in the House. Mr. Speaker, I understand that after the Act and the resolution has been passed in this respective House, they are being owned or being submitted to the respective department. And each and every department, we have chair who have the responsibility to man the different committee in this assembly. It is my due respect to request all the chairs in this honorable house to make sure that they are going to make a follow-up in the sectorial department or respective department to make sure those acts which have already been passed before this honorable house, they are fully operationalized. Mr. Speaker, we have a copy of the response to the above, and which is very voluminous. It is my prayer that the honorable member, and especially the honorable member who requests for the statement, can be able to get a copy of the same from the secretariat, and in particular or specific to the clerk to this particular committee, Christine Shivanzi, whereby the honorable member can be able to peruse and go through the response for the statement for in-depth understanding and clear understanding of the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the response. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. You've indicated that the report is voluminous. Now, did the member who had sought to know this, the Honorable Member for Viwandani, do you have access to that as we talk now?
Honorable Honorable Speaker, I don't have any report, or I've just heard it from the chair here.
So now, as such, you are not able to say whether you are okay with the response, or are you okay with the way that you've been directed to collect it from the clerk's office?
Mr. Speaker, as I can say, it is, I don't want to call it Thank you. I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to call it arrogancy, but it seems like, because as the chair, gender and inclusivity has represented or has replied the statement, she has already said that the member who requested for the statement was already furnished. So it is like I am still in the odd time that I was asking the statement. I don't know what is in that document. I'm directed to go to the clerk's office to correct the document. Then I go through. I don't know when I will come to tell this house that either I'm contented or I'm not. Thank you.
On that, the Honorable Member for Olkaria, is it the same thing or a different thing?
Just the general overlook or overview of the reports, Mr. Speaker, that we have adopted here as a House. Mr. Speaker, I'm not specifically talking about what Honorable Member has sought to find out, but it's of general concern that, Mr. Speaker, we have labored too much on very crucial and important issues within this county, some of which we have made very tremendous, vigorous recommendations upon which, if they will have been implemented, will not be where we are. Mr. Speaker, I just want to go on record that indeed we need to reflect on the resolutions of this particular House. Mr. Speaker, at some point last week, I did mention here, we really need to have like a liaison person between us and Assembly and the Executive, so that other than the implementation committee, which again gets this resolution, Mr. Speaker, some of the resolution that we have made takes too long to be even delivered to the respective departments. And even after delivery, the executive have taken this house for granted. They don't act on these resolutions as expected. And as to whether they is implemented or not, Mr. Speaker, the communication to this house in regards to what had been resolved, Mr. Speaker, it needs to be relooked into, it needs to be addressed, but we need really to affirm our position, Mr. Speaker. I remember, Mr. Speaker, last regime, when I served as the chair for PAC, there are very, very serious recommendations we had done on the reports that we had received from Honorable Njuguna here, the chair for health, has really made so many reports in this house, which subsequently have been adopted by this house, Mr. Speaker. So not necessarily looking at what Honorable Muraya had sought, Mr. Speaker, under your leadership, as the head of this, it's important, and this is just an advice to me and to any other person. It's important that we work in liaison with the people who had sought the member who had sought the statement, so that when we come to the floor, at least he's in tandem. He has got an overview of what is going to be presented, so that if there are any issues, we can thrash. But otherwise now, in this particular situation, it's like this report has been tabled, but the member who has sought the report is not even privy to anything. It leaves us hanging, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. So as such, so that now we proceed with the matters. We are not going to leave it at that. So the Honorable Chairperson, Committee on Implementation, after this sitting, you're going to make sure the Honorable Muraya has had the report. And so now in the next sitting that this assembly is going to sit, he's going to inform the House whether he was contented or not. However, we also want to believe that there could be an arrangement where it's going to be transmitted electronically or in soft for the benefit of other members. Because now when the Honorable Muraya asked that, it was not for his own consumption, it was for the benefit of the whole House. So that's how we progress. So the Honorable Member for Eburu Baruk, you are on the same or a different thing?
I was to say exactly what you've said, Mr. Speaker. It was for the benefit of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. There is another response by the Honorable Chairperson, Committee on Agriculture, Honorable Isabel Lamakori.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not Honorable Makori, but I liaise on behalf of Honorable Makori, whom is a fellow chair and also a member of that Agriculture Committee. And he requested me to give the response on her behalf to the Honorable Mutai. That is the first statement that was sought on the issues of the collapsed cold store, potato cold store. Honorable Speaker, on Wednesday, 24th July 2024, at 2:30 p.m., Honorable William Mutai requested for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Agriculture concerning the status of the collapsed cold store in Keringit, and he sought to know one, whether the Department of Agriculture is aware of the collapse of potato cold store facility in Keringit. Number two, actions the relevant department has taken against contractor and the signed engineer officer who supervised the construction. Number three, the payment status. Upon receipt of the requested statements, the Committee on Agriculture wrote to County Executive Member for Agriculture, Livestock and Veterinary Services on 29th July 2024 requesting on the said statement. And in response, the CCM, Livestock, Fisheries and Veterinary Services, gave a correspondence on 6th August stating that the department is aware of the status of the potato cold store and in that world, and the country currently cannot give statement on the same because there is a pending court case on the same being handled by the county attorney. Mr. Speaker, that is a reference with our standing order number 88, part 2 of our standing orders. Question number 2, actions the relevant department has taken against contractor and the assigned engineer. The CCM in the department has not taken any further action due to the pending court case that is being handled by the county attorney's office. Number 3, on the status of the payment, no payment has been made for the Keringet cold store that the CCM or the department is aware of. Mr. Speaker, I wish to respond to that statement and how I wish that the member, although actually there was one of the members from the area that was in relation with the crack of the department, and I think she was sent by Honorable Mutai because they come from the same area, and I believe that Honorable Mutai will be well informed as far as that statement that was he sought on the 24th is concerned.
Thank you, Honorable Member, on behalf of the Chairperson Committee on Agriculture. Who is the member who was sent?
Honorable Speaker, I stand on behalf of Honorable Mutai, who is a member representing Keringet Ward, to confirm that he is already with the information and is contented with it.
Thank you. The Honorable Chair, you want to move places? Okay. Yeah, so there is another statement, a response.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to respond to statement number 2 that was sought by Honorable from Mauche. Mr. Speaker, on Wednesday, 19th June 2024 at 2:30 p.m., Honorable Moses Ngeni Kolos requested for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Agriculture concerning the status of the potato curing plant in Kamasai Center, Mauche Ward, Njoro Sub-County, where he sought the information on whether the Department of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Veterinary Services is aware of the status of the project. Part B, measures the department has put in place to ensure the project is completed within the minimum time possible. Number 3, the long-term plans the Department of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Veterinary Services has put in place to enhance prudence in utilization of public resources in the implementation of projects within the county. Upon receipt of the requested statements, the Committee on Agriculture wrote to the County Executive Member for Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Veterinary Services on the 19th June 2024, requesting a report on the said statement. In response, the Agriculture CCM responded as follows. On Part A, whether the Department of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Veterinary Services is aware of the status of the project, the CC said that Irish potato is among the most important food crop in the Nakuru County after maize. The crop is one of the value chains that supports farmers in terms of food security, wealth, creation and source of employment for many in the county. The value chain is faced with many challenges such as inadequate certified seed, pest diseases, poor prices, especially during GRAT sessions, and post-harvest losses. The Mauchi Cold Store project was undertaken by the department during the financial year 2020-2021 after successful public participation and procurement procedure. Through procurement procedure, the project was funded by the Ward Kitty at a value of 5.2999 and awarded to Jawavi Enterprises. The cold storage facility was intended to support the farmers in reducing post-harvest losses, since the crop is highly perishable and susceptible to spoilage. By maintaining optimal storage condition, the potatoes' quality would be taken care of by preventing sprouting, dehydration, and diseases. The facility would also assist in price stabilization, since it would allow the farmer to store their produce and sell it when the market prices are favorable, ensuring better returns. Before that, handing over was done to the facility. It was reported that the facility was vandalized and some equipment stolen. NB, the facility was still in the hands of the contractor. The office has been in contact with the contractor to see the best way forward for the completion of the project, projects severally, and have an estimated budget to repair and complete the works. The contractor verbally indicated that she did not have the financial capability to repair the facility after the vandalization, and hence would not claim the retention amount which is currently in her deposit account. I would wish to repeat there, Mr. Speaker. The contractor verbally indicated that she did not have the financial capability to repair the facility after the vandalization, and hence would not claim the retention amount which is currently in her deposit account. Currently, the potato cold store is not operational due to the vandalism and needs repairs to make it operational. The project has not been handed over to the community by the contractor. The remaining 6 solar panels were kept by the area chief for safekeeping after consultation with the project implementation committee. The vandalism was reported to the Kamasai police station by the contractors accompanied by the area chief. Measures the department has put in place to ensure that the project is completed within the minimum time possible. The department requests Honorable Koros Mauche to consider an allocation to actualize the cold store from the Ward Kitty. Long terms, the Department of Agriculture, Livestock and Veterinary Services has put in place to enhance prudence in utilization of public resources in the implementation of projects within the county. Number one, ensure that the resources provided are sufficient and spent as per the budgetary allocation. All funded activities undertaken by the department should be subjected to public participation and be part of the CIDP. Continuous monitoring and evaluation of all projects being implemented within the county by appointed county officers. Ensure equitable distribution of resources within the county. Prioritize sectors that addresses the key mandates of the departments in terms of food security, wealth, employment creation, and nutrition. Continuous sensitization of the community on the need to own and take care of government projects. And finally, ensure thorough credibility and experience of contractors in specified work before engaging. Mr. Speaker, I also presume that the honourable member who sought the said statement has been informed accordingly by the clerk and also the chair, because we are at the committee level. They intimated that actually they were going to inform them as far as the responses are concerned. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I wish to respond to the said statements.
Thank you. The honourable member on behalf of the Chair, Agriculture, that is Committee on Agriculture. The honourable member for Mauche is not in. And so we are not able to say whether he's satisfied with the response or not. But from the office of the clerk, he has been notified. But then going forward, it's proper that whenever a statement is coming up, because the members are the honorable members are notified in time to avail themselves, so that now there is value and there is the intended purpose to achieve in as far as the replies for statements are concerned. Now there are requests for statements, and the first request for statements is by the Honorable Elijah Mwangi Mourage, requesting for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Environment concerning the uneven distribution of water by Naruasco, that is Nakuru Rural Water and Sanitation Company in Wasege's ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Elijah Mwangi Moraga, member for Waseges. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 42C, number 472C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Committee on Environment, Energy, Water and Natural Resources concerning questionable water distribution, which is unevenly distributed by Naruasco in Wasege's ward. Honorable Speaker, an adequate supply of fresh, that is clean, potable and uncontaminated water is essential for individual and public health. As a well-being, a social determinant of health, it is central to living a life in dignity and health and upholding human rights. Honorable Speaker, water management is crucial to the surrounding community and the environment in general. As we all be aware, if not well taken care of, water management would be essential for human life as well as for economic growth and environment maintenance. And for all to survive and thrive, we need proper, effective, sustainable, equitable water management. Without it, the county faces a dire, potentially deadly situation. I therefore request the Chairperson Committee on Environment, Energy, Water and Natural Resources to respond the following. 1. When Naruasco is not distributing water to paid-up clients in the following areas: Shadrach areas, Murerechua areas, and Kamumo and Way areas. 2. When Naruasco is not supporting Roko areas, even after the county government supported through the office of the member of county with over 20 roles. 3. Mitigation measures to solve water shortage in the mentioned areas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The statement is committed to the Committee on Environment. The Chairperson, take note.
Speaker, sir.
And we expect a report to be ready in 21 days. And we've given you all that time so that now you have, the committee has ample time to work on this statement and to have a very comprehensive report. There is another request of statement by the Honorable Elijah Mwangi Mourage, and to the Committee on Environment, Energy, Water and Natural Resources concerning quarry activities in Kiamaina Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the member for Kiamaina, Paul Waweru Arege, who is not feeling well, Honorable Speaker.
Order. The member is in the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So
Mr. Speaker.
Order. His presence, is it to make sure that you've read the statement or maybe there is another arrangement?
Mr. Speaker, he is having a flu, so that he has a problem with the throat.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 47, 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Energy, Environment and Natural Resources concerning quarry activities in Kiamaina Ward. Honorable Speaker, the county government has licensed 2 companies in Kiamaina Ward, namely Amalok and Kasan Lamji companies, to undertake quarry mining. While the residents of Kiamaina Ward appreciate the impact of these companies in terms of job creation, both directly and indirectly, this should not occur at the expense of the well-being of the communities living at the surrounding. Honorable Speaker, as you may be aware, the activities involved in quarry mining including blasting and drilling of rocks using heavy equipments. This causes the energy airwaves to travel through the ground to the neighboring houses and infrastructure, resulting to cracks and unpleasant vibrations. Similarly, the deep evacuations are left unattended, posing danger to both humans and animals. Honorable Speaker, we appreciate those economic activities generate good percentage of revenue for the county government. It is, however, important that county government comes up with protocol to ensure maximum safety at the quarry sites and the surrounding environment. Honorable Speaker, it is also unsettling to know that heavy trucks ferrying ballast and other quarry products have caused extensive damages on several roads leading to quarry sites. I request the Chairperson Committee on Environment, Energy and Natural Resources to appraise the House on what intentions the county government employing to. Number 1, minimize impact of the mining activities in the houses and the surrounding infrastructure. 2, ensure the deep excavations are sealed off to keep community safe. 3, ensure roads used by the heavy trucks transporting quarry products are rehabilitated. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the Honourable Member for Waseges. On behalf of the member for Kiamaina, who is not feeling well, the Honourable Chairperson Committee on Energy, that is Committee on Energy, Environment and Natural Resources. Take note of that, and you have 21 days to give a comprehensive response to this statement. So take note. Now, there is the last request for statement by the Honorable Paul Warege, the member for Kiamaina, who is having is requesting this from the Chairperson Committee on Lands and Housing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I think Honorable Elijah Morage, I think he gave one of the reasons as to why I was not able to raise that, to request for that statement. And it was flu, but now it has relieved. But in addition, I'm a member of Energy and Water Committee, and the request that was made was from that committee. That's why I requested him to do on my behalf. Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, while you are at it, the honorable member who just did that for and on your behalf, the honorable member for Waseges, it is alarming to give information that can cause information or a position that is not correct about the health of a member of this honorable house. So it is good to, because there was no miracle that has happened in the last few minutes, but now we are advised. We are advised and the member can proceed.
Mr. Speaker, the member has confirmed he is okay now.
Proceed, the honorable member for Kiamaina.
Okay, thank you. Speaker. And thank you, Mr. Morage.
The honorable member for Shabab, allow the member to ask, and then you have your time.
Mr. Speaker.
Mheshimiwa Wadhia, I think I'm in decorum. So
Order.
sit down.
The honorable member for Kiamaina, you are not able to address
Thank you, Mr.
the member
Speaker,
on my behalf. So the honorable member for Shabab, have your seat and let the member proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm Paul Waweru, MCA representing the great people of Kiamaina Ward. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 47, subsection 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning concerning encroachment of public road reserves at Wakas, Rurie, Getuamba, Menengai, and Kiamaina sublocations. Honorable Speaker, there has been steady increase of cases of road reserve encroachments by private developers and homeowners in the county. This poses dangers to both motorists and pedestrians, as the roads have been reduced to narrow corridors, thus compromising on proper accessibility and usage. Honorable Speaker, all county roads, including access roads and feeder roads, are all contained in a map, stroke a plan, for the survey, from the Survey of Kenya. In essence, the demarcations of roads reserves are well provided for in the legal documents that can easily be obtained by the relevant county departments. Honorable Speaker, roads are key elements in provisions of physical access. Without physical access, rural communities face much greater obstacles in obtaining health, education, and other social services. It is therefore important that the county government moves with speed, establish all demarcations of the public roads falling within its purview, and further ensure the same is protected from encroachment. I request the Chairperson Committee on Lands, Housing and Physical Planning to issue a statement on what measures the relevant departments in the county executive are taking to address the issue of road reserve encroachment in the stated areas. Honorable Speaker, I request for a statement. Thank you.
Thank you, the honorable member for Kiamaina. The Honorable Chair, Committee on Lands and Physical Planning, take note. And you prepare a response within 21 days for presentation and response before this Honorable House. Next order.
Mr. Speaker.
Order number 8, motion.
What is it, the Honorable Member for Olkaria?
Mr. Speaker, I wish to raise on standing order number 36 of our standing orders that provides for any member at any given time may rise in his or her place and seek for leave to move the adjournment of the House for the purpose of discussing a definite matter of county importance. Mr. Speaker, as a member of this Honorable House, I seek to request that you give guidance based on these standing orders provided for in 36 of our standing orders, so that I bring up the matter that I find that is very important to this county. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, I hope by looking and be keenly, it allows me to continue and bring up the matter that I may be talking about. With your permission, Mr. Speaker. If
And now, do you have, what, these are the members who are supporting that? The Honorable Leader of Majority Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I raise...
The members, you may be seated, and then we are going to proceed. The Honorable Majority Leader.
I raise in the same standing order, Mr. Speaker, standing order number 36, subsection 2, and I wish also to be informed, because subsection 2 of the same standing order number 36 talks of a member who wishes to seek leave to move the adjournment of the House, shall at least do this 2 hours before the commencement of the sitting, hand to the Speaker a written notification of the matter, but the Speaker also shall refuse to allow the claim unless the Speaker is satisfied that the matter is definite, urgent, and of county importance and may properly be raised on a motion for adjournment of the House. So I don't know, Mr. Speaker, whether my colleague had done the same.
Mr. Speaker, I think you will have to...
Order. The Honorable Member for Olkaria. Yes, I want to confirm that the Honorable Member for Olkaria was able to write 2 hours before this House. So what in this, because now this is coming up, we do not have precedence where a matter of county importance is presented the same day that we are proceeding to call or to move a motion for adjournment. And so in these special circumstances, I'm going to rule that the matter of county importance proceed. Then immediately after that, we are going to, the Honorable Leader of Majority Party will move the adjournment motion so that now we can have the two consequently. So the Honorable Member for Olkaria, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that indulgence, and that's why the standing order number 1 gives me all those powers to give a leeway to that. I'm really humbled for that, and indeed I did follow the procedure by writing to you. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to the attention of this House that there is a very, very serious calculated move to jeopardize the implementation of the projects, to siphon the county bursaries balances. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, there have been some posting orders circulating to the ward administrators that these particular ward administrators that have served in different wards, all of them are set for transfers to different wards, Mr. Speaker. I find the timing to be very wrong, and I have reasons which I will have to explain before you, Mr. Speaker. Inasmuch as legislators, we may not have a control in terms of posting, reposting, and redeployment of these officers, I find a calculated scheme and move that these particular transfers are coming at the time when many of us who have enhanced some bursaries, we have been discussing about the balances that we have within our wards. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, there were some discussions under the department and a few people that even those balances were to be distributed to the beneficiaries. Mr. Speaker, if for purposes of figures, we have a figure to a tune of 5.6 something million shillings that had been enhanced by respective ward representatives in our view of undertaking the bursaries. And Mr. Speaker, so the transfers that are meant to be undertaken are meant to confuse people, are meant to displace others so that those balances are not traced. And so, Mr. Speaker, I'm seeking that we hold the transfers for these ward administrators, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, secondly, these transfers are purportedly coming when most of the projects have been rolled up. Most of these ward administrators, Mr. Speaker, are among the members on the project management committees. And so when we displace such a people from such a kind of important committees, it's also meant kind of to confuse the implementation of the project, and this might result into the delay in the implementing these projects. And so, Mr. Speaker, for those reasons, I believe, and I want to request that honorable members, we agree unanimously that we put on hold these transfers of these particular ward administrators. Mr. Speaker, there is also a precedent that had been set, because before this particular time, in a moment in time, there was this kind of murmurs and clamor that these ward administrators were to be transferred. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm, and history will charge me, that we did have a meeting with the county secretary then, who then confirmed that that particular transfers were going to be put on hold, and indeed it was. That because then they were to transfer these ward administrators on merit in terms of if I have a problem with my ward admin. And indeed these members can confirm that that was what was agreed. So I find that there is some mischief and lack of participation. The County Government Act and the Constitution of this Republic, Article number 176, provide for the creation of the county government, which again provide for two arms of this particular government, the county assembly and the county executive. And for the smooth running of these particular projects, there is need, Mr. Speaker, that there must be some concurrence and some consultations, because again, this is going to jeopardize the implementation of the project. This has not been done. Unless these members can confirm to me, if at any given point, from the time we put it on hold, whether you have had a meeting in my absentia, then I want to be challenged on that. But what I believe, there has been no concurrence, there has been no consultation. Of course, Mr. Speaker, I'm aware that the consultation may not mean concurrence. But again, there must be that consultation for purpose of the running of this particular project. And so, Mr. Speaker, I stand here to request that these members can contribute to this particular motion and put it on hold, that until the bursaries balances have been dispersed, there should be no transfer of the ward administrator, because this is meant to siphon that kind of money, that it's only that information is only confined to the ward administrators to the respective wards. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, that's what I wish to bring on board as a very eloquent and competent and focused and experienced leader in this particular county. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, the Honourable Member for Karia. The member for Menengai West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand firmly against the recent decision to transfer the ward administrators across various wards. This decision, Mr. Speaker, undermines the stability and progress that our communities have been striving to achieve. Mr. Speaker, ward administrators are integral to the smooth operation of local governance. They possess in-depth knowledge of the unique challenges and the need of their respective wards. Transferring them disrupt local knowledge, leading to inefficiency and setback in service delivery. Mr. Speaker, in impact on development and projects, many ongoing development projects are managed.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
The member for Maimayu, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, I think in our standing order, Mr. Speaker, you cannot start before this house. Maybe the clerk can help me, but I know very well, Mr. Speaker, that you cannot start before this house and start reading, Mr. Speaker. We don't know whether you are reading the Bible, you are reading the Quran,
Mr. Speaker.
or what are you reading, or what are you referring to, Mr. Speaker? Because I can see that the Honourable Member is reading a script, I don't know the source. He has not served us with whatever he's reading, Mr. Speaker. So I feel like that is out of order completely, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Menengai.
Yes, sir.
Are you reading or
actually,
are you...
Mr. Speaker, I prepared my statement after discussing with Mheshimiwa Palanga concerning the matter that we are raising today.
Now, as such, you're only able to be able to communicate your ideas and your thoughts.
Okay.
Not necessarily having to read in prose, like word for word.
Sawa, Mr. Speaker. Okay, I can just say that transferring of these ward administrators will bring another challenge that about the ongoing projects that have been ongoing. Mr. Speaker, some of them who will come and come and take over the position of the ward administrators, it will bring a challenge to send even a new ward admin to a various places that he have not been even visited. Mr. Speaker, again, the ward administrators who are now present in our areas, they know every corners and every area of our wards. If we bring another new ward admin, we will have again to take more time to train them, to show them this is the direction to this place and other places. Mr. Speaker, I support what Mheshimiwa Palanga is bringing, and we need that transfer to be suspended immediately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member from Kerget, the Honourable Member for, from Kuresoi South, the Honourable Lea Serem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was wondering whether the member of Keringet Ward, I was searching if Mheshimiwa Kalamu is around, but I'm the nominated member of Kuresoi South. Thank you. Asante sana kwa wakati huu ambao umeweza kunipa, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Nimesimama kwa hoja ya mwenzangu Mheshimiwa Balanga ambaye ameweza kutoa hoja yake kwamba ward admins waweze kukaa vile walivyo, wasije wakatolewa ama kutransferiwa pahali ambapo wako. Mimi tukiwa na Balanga tulikuwa first assembly pamoja na yeye, na wakati huo ndio tuliweka mikakati ya ward admins. Na tangu wakati huo, Mheshimiwa Speaker, tunajua ya kwamba ward admins walikuwa wakipewa transfer na first governors, second governors, na hata wakati huu katika third governors, governor ambaye ako katika kiti, naunga mkono kwamba transfer huwa unafanyika kila mahali na sio kwamba ni ward admin peke yao. Juzi tumeangalia kwamba tulishuhudia DC katika Kenya mzima wengi waliweza kufanywa reshuffle na wakaendelea na kazi zao. 3 years ago ama 4 years ago, walimu ambao wamekuwa wakikaa sehemu ambao wameishi miaka nyingi, tuliweza kushuhudia kwamba hata kuna walimu waliweza kutoka Nakuru hii county yetu wakaweza kwenda katika Turkana county. Lakini kwa sasa hivi mimi siungi mkono kwamba wasiende transfer, lakini naunga mkono kwamba waeze wakainteract na ward zingine, na pia wengine hata wanaweza kuja huko kwetu Kuresoi, labda wameishi katika Nakuru miaka zote bila kufanya hata ukulima. Wacha watembee. Kazi ambao walikuwa wakifanya haita affect chochote, kwa sababu jinsi nijuavyo, mtu akienda lazima handing over ifanywe, na lazima mtu aonyeshe project alikuwa amefikisha hapa, alafu aende pahali alipo. Kwa hivyo mimi nasema hiyo transfer na reshuffle iendelee. Asante.
Thank you. The Honorable Elias Serem. The Honorable Member for Viwandani.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to support my brother, Honorable Peter Wanjara Paranga, on this matter of county importance. Mr. Speaker, sitaweza kufikiria vile nitaweza kusema kwa ufasaha kabisa, lakini nataka nielezee na haswa Mheshimiwa Salem. Ni vizuri mtu kupigwa ama kupelekwa transfer, lakini kwa muda ambao unafaa. Sasa hivi tunavyoongea, kama vile Mheshimiwa amesema, ni wakati ambapo hawa ward admins wanafuata zile pesa ambazo tuliallocate kwa kupatia watoto bursaries. Kuna pesa za miradi na mahali miradi imefika. Sasa hivi Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwangu ninafanya titling. Yule mtu ambaye anajulikana na wakaaji ambaye wanauliza maswali ni yule ward admin. Yule ambaye analetwa sasa, hata kabla atoke hapa mahali anatoka aje kwangu, the process itakuwa imesimama, kwa sababu hakuna mtu wa kujibu maswali. Mheshimiwa Speaker, haiwezekani hii iendelee hii kwa hii county mambo inafanyika hivyo. Sijui kwamba the reason as to why they are all being transferred, the 55 of them plus the 11 sub-county administrators atago. Ni nini hiki ambacho kinafanyika, ambacho kinafanya hawa watu waondolewe wote mara moja siku moja? Nauliza Mheshimiwa Speaker, wanasaidia gavana ama wanammaliza? Kwa sababu saa ile kazi itakapokuwa imesimama, wananchi watakuwa wakinungunika, wakipiga gavana, wakipiga MCA. Tuna watu ambao hawajui ni nini waliopewa, kazi gani waliopewa katika hii county. Kwa sababu wakati kama huu, wakati watu wametoka kwa maandamano, wakati watu ambao wanahitaji saa hii, wanafunzi wanahitaji kurudi shule, unakuja kutuambia umetoa huyu ambaye unaweza mpigia simu ukamwelezea fanya hivi na hivi ili kazi ikaweza kuendelea. Mheshimiwa Speaker, kuhamisha mtu kutoka kituo kimoja hadi kingine, hawa ward administrators sio security operators, and that is why they are called administrators. Hata kama wengine security personnels, ukimtuma ataenda kukuta mdogo wake ambaye alikuwa pale. Kazi hata kama itakuwa ikiendelea. Sasa hivi Mheshimiwa Speaker, ninakuambia kabla ya hawa watu wafanye reporting to their respective stations, tutachukua muda wa wiki mzima, wiki mbili. Sasa Mheshimiwa Spika, tutakuwa tunafanya nini? Tutakuwa tunauliza nani maswali na tutakuwa tunaelezea nani vile ambavyo tunafaa kufanya. Mheshimiwa Spika, hii jambo linafaa kusimamishwa kwa haraka na upesi sana, ili hata kama kuna maneno ingine itafanyika. Na ninaomba hili jumba tuweze kufanya kikao maalum, ili huyu CEO ambaye amefanya hii kwa kaunti mzima. Juu tunataka kujua ni makosa, ni wema wametenda, ni kupagawa wamepagawa, ama ni nini wamefanya. So Mheshimiwa Spika, ninauliza hii kikao, hata kama tutaenda recess, utuite kwa special sitting, tuje tukae na CEO na CEC watuelezee kwa sababu gani walifikiria hii na wakaamua bila hata sisi kujua. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you. The member for Gilgil, the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nimeamka kuchangia huu mjadala na kusema ya kwamba hii ratiba ambayo imetolewa ya kwamba ward admins wamebadilishwa, vile sub-county admins pia wamebadilishwa. Niseme ya kwamba ningeomba tu isikuwe political, kwa maana Gilgil imekuwa political. Nilipopata hiki kiti, nilikuwa na ward admin ambaye niliomba aweze kupewa transfer, kwa sababu wakati tulikuwa tunapiga siasa alikuwa mrengo tofauti na alikuwa ananipiga sana, nikaona hatutaweza kufanya kazi pamoja. Ni vyema alipewa transfer na akaenda. Naye ward admin ambaye nililetewa, tukafanya kazi vizuri sana Bwana Speaker. Na kuna sifa nzuri Gilgil, hata za whatever, what do you call it, bursaries. Na jambo la kuhuzunisha ni kwamba kuna coordinator mahali pale ambaye ameaminika sana kwa ofisi ya governor na ambaye ndio anapeleka mambo, na akasema ya kwamba tumesikizana sana na huyu ward admin, inastahili apelekwe transfer kwa sababu ananisikiza sana kuliko vile anamsikiza yeye huyu coordinator. Bwana Speaker, nikueleze kwamba sub-county admin alipewa transfer, nikaletewa yule ambaye nilikuwa nimeomba aondolewe kama sub-county, na huyu ward admin tulikuwa tunafanya kazi vizuri Gilgil, amepelekwa transfer. Kwanza alitolewa miezi 2 iliyopita, akaletwa huko na hang around tu. He was nowhere, bora hang tu, lakini asifanye kazi na rules. Na hivi sasa nimeona katika hii ratiba amepelekwa Mount Narok. Hiyo ni punishment. Hiyo ni punishment. Sisemi Mount Narok hakuna watu ama hakufanyiki kazi, lakini simply because anafanya kazi na kuna mtu anaitwa coordinator. Na hili jambo sijui tutasaidia Bwana Speaker. Kuna watu pale coordinators ground wanafanya kazi mbovu kwa heshimiwa, ndio wameaminiwa na executive katika oversight, hivi kwamba coordinator anaweza itisha tinga kwa sababu ya barabara na mheshimiwa alikuwa ameitisha, ileto wakati coordinator ameitisha, kudunisha MCA mwenye ako ground. Kazi haifanyiki vizuri. Mimi ni kusema naomba tu isiwe huu mbadiliko ni siasa ya kupiga waheshimiwa. Yule ameletwa kwangu, nitamkaribisha, sina shida. Wala wamekuja tafanya kazi, sababu najua mimi niliitwa kufanyia Wanjiku kazi. Mtu mwenye ataleta siasa mahali pale, hiyo hatutamuunga mkono. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Thank you. The honorable member for Buru Baruk, Maimayu, and then the honorable member for Dodori, in that order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. We are cognizant of the fact that we have the principles of separation of power. And as much as we are appreciating ya kwamba hizi transfers zina fall squarely katika mikono ya executive. And whatever they have done, it is within their right and within the law. Our concern is this, Mr. Speaker, that the office of the admin or an administrator is not so much like these offices that we have here in town. Ile yake sana sana is like a mobile office. Mr. Speaker, unakuanga naye, I have the biggest ward. Kutoka Dhugunoi, kwenda Songoroi, kwenda mahali pale pengine. Kile ambacho mimi ningeomba na ningependelea ni hii. The first 3 months, tulipoingia, nilifanyiwa a change ya ward admin. Then I went for 3 months without a ward admin. Then I got another ward admin, tukakaa naye miezi 3, akabadilishwa. Nikaenda miezi 6 ama hivyo bila ward admin. Nimepata mwingine, anaenda kupata miezi 3, amebadilishwa. Now, I'm speaking as a representative of the people of Eburu Baruk. Hata kama tunajua kwamba whatever the executive is doing is well within their rights, but it is not within the rights of the people of Eburu Baruk that they cannot have a constant office to contact in terms of the ward admin. Miezi 3 ya kwanza, akabadilishwa. Ingine tukakaa bila. Huyu amepeana namba, wameanza kujua, kukichomeka anaitishwa kitu, learning to know where Nagum is, where Jaika is, where Morop is. Sasa tena unataka kunijulisha ya kwamba we'll go back to that, to start telling people, because if this was an office that people are coming to visit, there is it's an institution, we have the institutional memory, wataendelea kuhudumiwa. Kama ni shule, kama ni security apparatus, kweli. But this one is about landscape. This one is about knowing the area. This one is unique as much as in the County Government Act. The ward admin, all of them have the same duties. But again, we have to understand that we are working from different setups and backgrounds. If a ward admin was carrying their duties very well, and I have no problem with this particular ward, but let me use it as an example. Pengine alikuwa anafanya kazi vizuri sana ndani ya Nakuru East. Then mumemwambia aende Mount Narok ama Eburu Baruk. It will take time to acclimatize. It will take time to set in. And unfortunately, we are doing these things when we are not at a very good place in terms of ile kazi ambayo imefanyika. It is an interruption that even in our oversight role, as much as I'm agreeing with the Honorable Serem that is well within the governor's right. But Mr. Speaker, it's also within our very much right that we need to oversight. And we do not oversight money only. We oversight everything that happens in the county, even if it is how they breathe in and breathe out. Mr. Speaker, this transfer will not only affect how our residents are able to contact the county, but it is also going to affect, because we are at a point where we are going into supplementary budget. We have been going on the ground. We know that the national government had some changes in the budget. So we expect we'll be having vigorous activities in marrying our county budgets, our ward budgets, with the national budgets. Now you cannot tell me you are going to give me a person who requires orientation on the operations of my ward, on the projects that we had, to sit with them again to be able to do a supplementary budget. The thing they have done could be well within their rights, but it is wrong timing. And if we fail to tell them, watafunzwa na ulimwengu. But now we don't have the luxury of learning from the world, because we already know what is going wrong, Mr. Speaker. So, Honorable Serem said that teachers are being transferred all over. But Mr. Speaker, that was so many years ago. You need to come to where we are today. Parliament stopped delocalization of teachers. So that is past by time, unless you have an...
Honorable Serem, you've been mentioned.
Nimefikiria ni sabotage. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimesimama kwa sababu ya Mheshimiwa Gathanwa kwamba ametaja neno kwa
Order members.
Nimesimama kwa hoja mahali ambapo ametaja kwamba nimeongea juu ya walimu kwa miaka nyingi zilizopita, lakini ningemwambia sio miaka nyingi zilizopita, ni kama 4 years ago, na hiyo sio miaka nyingi. Maneno ya DC hata wiki mbili hazijaisha. DCs katika Kenya mzima waliweza kupigwa transfer na ni juzi. Hiyo pia ni miaka zilizopita kweli. Kwa hivyo tunaongea mambo ambayo yanaendelea katika Kenya. Hata pia mapolisi wana transferiwa. Wanatoka katika kituo hiki kwenda katika kituo hiyo lingine. Na tukianza kupinga ni kumaanisha hata mapolisi wakipigwa transfer tuwe tukiwatetea. Kwa sababu tunapoongea sasa hivi, mzee wangu hako Meru anakaaga huko for more than 5 months. Kwa hivyo hata si tusoe. Kwa hivyo tukiamua kutetea, tutetee wafanyikazi wote katika nchi ya Kenya. Sio ward admin peke yao. Walimu tuwatetee. Kama we ni mtetezi wa Mbaruk, tetea mwalimu pia ni wanjiko wako. Tetea askari ni wanjiko wako. Tetea kila mmoja ambaye hata daktari katika ward yako. Sio kumaanisha
Point of information, Mr. Speaker, and it's important.
Order, Honorable Palanga.
Just an information, Mr. Speaker.
No. Have your information.
Okay.
Yeah. So
asante Mheshimiwa
proceed
Speaker.
and yes.
Sio kumaanisha tu ati wakati ward admin ametolewa tuje hapa kupiga kelele. Kwa nini musiende katika vituo za polisi?
Honorable Speaker, that is
tuone kwamba
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, it's based on that we need the honorable members seem not to be aware of even the devolved functions and our mandates where they get from.
Order.
You want to propose that we can control the president on how to pose the DCC and all that. That's not within our mandate, Mr. Speaker. And it's important that the honorable member
the honorable member for Viwandani, for Olkaria, kindly have your seats. Then Honorable Serem, kindly finish up.
There was something, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to clarify. No. You see, the honorable member has said withdraw. Unakuja kupiga makelele. She has to withdraw that, Mr. Speaker. We are not making noise. I wanted to inform her that we are not making noise. We are debating on matters on a matter of county importance. So we are not making noise.
And these are on the floor.
Order members.
Withdraw.
Order members.
Asante
Order members. Your the honorable member for Eburu Baruk, have your seat. Yes, and now you are not on the floor. The honorable Serem, kindly finish up.
Mheshimiwa Speaker. Is it in order for the deputy majority leader to tell me my time is over?
Mr. Speaker,
honorable member,
Mr. Speaker, honorable
member for Baruk,
make her with
you are on the floor.
We are not making
the
noise
honorable
here.
member for Baruk, you are on the floor. Kindly finish up your
noise here, Mr. Speaker. She must, honorable
order. Honorable Palanga,
we are not making noise, Mr. Speaker. Honorable member must be compelled to withdraw.
Have your seat. The honorable member for Eburu Baruk, proceed. Proceed, honorable member for Eburu Baruk.
Thank you so much, honorable members and the noisemaker in the house. As we continue, I was here, Mr. Speaker, I was saying, and I was informing the member, and right now, I'm not asking whether I should inform her, because she has displayed her misinformation to us. Delocalization has been fought. And even in police service, you cannot transfer a whole police station, you cannot come to Nakuru County and transfer everyone. There is continuity. So as we help those who are misguided, Mr. Speaker, sir, as a county government, we are cognizant of the fact that families are units and they are important. Now, because honorable member is suffering and she's telling us that her husband is in Meru for 5 months.
Order, member.
Are we saying no? It was voluntary information from the honorable
now
member.
You're getting
Mr.
personal.
Speaker.
Proceed.
It was voluntary information, and it is now with us.
Proceed.
And we can use it, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
She gave it to us. Mr. Speaker, today I don't want to be excited. I've always been able to compose myself. And now, you cannot now come here and start saying, because you are waiting for 5 months, you want other people to be transferred so that they join you in the list of waiting for months. Mr. Speaker, we want to have families because we want units of development are families. And now when you're telling me that someone is here 3 months, there 4 months, another 3 months, what are we advocating? So, Mr. Speaker, before I was interrupted. My point that I was summarizing was this. It is true, it is well within their rights. But even when something is within your right, it is also your right to reason out. Because timing is everything. We have the season for everything. And number two, when we come here to say that it is not the right time to do transfer for everyone in the whole administrative system, we'll be having months. Like, for instance, Mr. Speaker, the 3 transfers that has happened in my ward, there is no file that has been given. If they have one, let them bring it. Now this is another one. And it is 55 ward admins and 12 sub-county admins. That would take 3 to 4 months to have a proper handing over. Mr. Speaker, we are not saying they should not do their transfers. We are saying let them do piecemeal or let them do where necessary, but we should not disrupt and interrupt with the functions of the county. Thank you.
The member for Maimayu.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kwa sababu ya kunitika nafasi hii. Pia nichangie na nipeane hoja yangu. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni haki ya kitengo ambacho kinaongozwa na governor kufanya mabadiliko kwa wakati wowote ule, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na tuweze kusema kwa nyumba hii tuseme tuko na haki ya kusema huyu asifanye na yule asifanye, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini hoja ambayo imeweza kupatiana na Mheshimiwa Paranga ya kuwa kwa wakati huu, Mheshimiwa Spika, ndipo tunajaribu kufuata na kurainisha pesa zetu ambazo zilikuwa kwa basari, Mheshimiwa Spika. Yule order mini ambaye yuko ni yeye alikey in hizo vitu zote, ni yeye alihusika kwa kila jambo lolote. Sababu kama vile unajua Mheshimiwa Spika, majukumu yetu ni oversight. Hatuna majukumu yote ile ya kupatia mtu ama kukey in ama kupeleka fomu yote mahali popote. Kuna kamati ambayo ina award, secretary wa hiyo kamati ni ward admin. Mheshimiwa Spika, transfer ni nzuri. Lakini kama nimepata vizuri kwenye Mheshimiwa Paranga ameileta. Kwa sababu hatuwezi kusimama kwa hatuna haki yoyote ya kisheria kusema ya kwamba tunaweza zuia mtu yoyote kuhamishwa kutoka mahali moja ama mahali pengine. Hatuna haki yoyote. Lakini tumesema isimamishwe kwa muda. Tusuruhishe maneno hii ya basari ambayo ilikuwa. After kusuruhisha, sasa mabadiliko inaweza kufanyika kwa wakati wowote ule. Lakini kwa kama mjumbe wa Maimahiu, ningependa tu kupatiana wosia tu kidogo kwa executive, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Hata kama mabadiliko ikifanya, haikifanyika yote mara moja. Because uongozi ni kuendelezwa. It's something to do with continuity, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Mabadiliko ni nzuri ifanyike, lakini kuifanya mara moja ni kama kuna vita, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Na kama naweza sikiliza sauti ya nyumba hii, Mheshimiwa Speaker, nikirudisha mawazo yangu nyuma, tulipoingia kwa nyumba hii, Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa muda wa karibu miezi 5, miezi 6, Mheshimiwa Speaker, tumesukumana na maneno ya kesi makotini kuhusu mawaziri, maweka hazina wote tumekuwa na shida hiyo, tukachukua muda mrefu. Na kwangu ningefikiria sisi kama wajumbe na wale wanafanya kazi katika executive, Mheshimiwa Speaker, sio wakati wetu saa hii wa marubano. Ni wakati wetu wa kukaa pamoja, tukubaliane jinsi tutafanya kazi, kwa sababu yule mwananchi yako pale ameinuka, anatutazama. Huyu sio mwananchi mwenye alituvotia wakati ule. Umeona kizazi kimeinuka ambacho kimekuja na ikajipatia jina. Saa hii wanafanya rural oversight. Wanatuangalia wote, wanatukodolea macho. Kila hoja tunayoiongea, kila jambo tunalolitenda, wako macho. Wanaangalia tunakula nini, tunakunywa nini, tunatembea lini na wapi. Na huko tunaenda kufanya nini. Hayo yote wako macho. Na sio kwetu peke yetu kama wajumbe tu wa wodi, mpaka kwa president mwenyewe. Nimesikia hata yeye mwenyewe akisema, kwa sababu shughuli zangu za kwenda nje ya Kenya ni kama zimesimamishwa na kizazi cha Gen Z, Mheshimiwa Spika. Sasa kwa wakati huu, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni wakati wetu kama serikali na kama wajumbe. Na nikikumbuka vizuri, Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna wakati tumefanya mkutano hapa na ikasemekana kuna ofisi ambayo itatengenezwa, ambayo itakuwa liaison office. Kuna mtu ambaye atalink from the executive, tuambiwe ni huyu, kama tuko na hoja tuwasilishe kwake, afikishe kwa executive. Na haijatekelezwa, maana ilizungumzwa hapa kwa mkutano ya kwamba kutakuwa na mtu ambaye kama saa hii tungekuwa na hiyo hoja tungeizungumza hata kuliko kabla tujaileta hapa kuianika katika kaunti mzima. Mheshimiwa Spika, tungekuwa na njia ya kuwasilisha, lakini hatuna hiyo njia. Diposa lazima, kwa sababu sauti yetu lazima isikike hapa, diposa tuilete hapa. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwako diposa ujaribu jinsi unaweza kusaidia. Kwa hivyo nimesimama kwa hili hoja nikisema ya kwamba transfer sio baya, lakini kwa wakati huu isimamishwe kidogo, diposa tuweze kupatiwa nafasi ya kumalizia maneno yote ya basari. Transfer ikifanyika ifanyike kwa njia ambayo iko na uwazi. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Maimayu. The Honourable Member for Malewa, you're out of order, grossly out of order. You're consulting, or are you, there's some noise that you are making from that end. So the Honourable Member for Dodori.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I rise to support the motion of content on the issue of transfers. Mr. Speaker, I want to bring to your attention that the transfers is coming at the wrong time. Mr. Speaker, timing means, as a county, we have our CEO, who is our governor, and from the moment of induction of this regime, basing my argument on management of any government institution or any private institution, there is an issue of planning. There is an issue of organizing, even to the final of directing and evaluation. Now, we are in the midway of what we are doing as a county. And there's a lot of projects that are ongoing, that is being implemented. Some are in completion. And being the secretary to every this project, we need to continuity of our project so that we can adhere and give service to our people. Mr. Speaker, I didn't know the intention. Was it ill intention of the transfers to all these people? Was it based on merit, on the merit? Because some transfers need to be based on some issues. We cannot go as a whole county to destabilize what we are doing. We as MCAs, we are politically aligned with these transfers because is it a timing to disorganize what we are doing as a county, or is it an intention to bring better services to our county? Because if it are transfers, it should be in matters of merit or appraisals, so that we can have good relationship going forward to the remaining time, so that our county can go forward and over the services that are required. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion on that issue.
Thank you. The member for Dondori, the member for Nakuru East, and then the last member will be the Honorable Chemutai.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to support this motion and say that whereas we understand there is that separation of power and separation of duties between the executive and this house, we want to just to plead with with the executive to hear the cry or to hear the sentiments that are coming from honorable members, in that there are pertinent issues that have been raised, and we are in the middle of implementing our projects, and more so the bursary issue. I want just to plead with the executive not to do it in wholesome, because it is their duty to transfer, and we are not standing here to oppose transfers, because those are employees of this county and they can be transferred. But what we are raising, they have been transferred wholesomely. So we are just pleading with the executive to look at it so that we can have, truth be told. When we entered to this house, Mr. Speaker, sir, I remember some members were raising issues. There was no working relation between members of this county assembly and the so-called ward admins. But we have cultivated a way of doing our work, and most of our offices, Mr. Speaker, sir, we share with these ward admins. Also in my ward, I don't have an office per se. I share with the ward admin in the same room. No separation of rooms, it's just a single room. So we have a very good working relation with that ward admin. And giving me another ward admin, it will jeopardize my working, the way I do my things. And I want to raise a concern whereby in my ward, the ward admin, currently she is almost giving birth, and she has been taken. That is the truth of the matter. She's expectant. Oh, thank you. I stand corrected. And I respect women. I stand corrected. So, in fact, she told me this morning that according to her condition, she cannot move far from her home. So I stand here to plead with the executive just to look at that matter. Don't do it wholesomely. Consider some issues that have been raised by the honorable members, and we work together to deliver to people of Nakuru County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The member for Visoi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I arise to support the matter of county importance because it's the work of the executive to execute their duties. But I thought a while when I saw this information at the WhatsApp group. Kusema ukweli, Mr. Speaker, nilifikiria sana. Nikasema, sasa kazi yangu ni oversight, tena nitakuwa ward admin for a while. Na pia, sisi wote maybe tumezoeana na ward admins wetu ambao tulikuwa pamoja. Kwa muda mfupi ama muda mrefu, wakati tuliingia bunge ya Nakuru, tulifanyiwa reshuffle lingine. Yule ward admin ambaye tulikuwa pamoja, alitolewa akaenda mahali pengine. So after 7 months, niko na ward admin mwingine ambaye amefika. Yule ambaye tulikuwa pamoja, tulikuwa tumezoeana. Kama ni kisirani, tunazoea kisirani yetu padi inaweza fika. Lakini kwa sasa hatujui itakuwa namna gani, kwa sababu tuko na kazi ya basari. Na kazi ya ward admin ni secretary kwa mambo ya basari. Number 2, kuna supplementary budget ambayo inakuja. Na hatujui ya kwamba itakuwa namna gani. So hata hii kazi ya kureshuffle pia inaweza kudororesha kazi ambayo ilikuwa imepangiliwa. So kwa mimi nasema ya kwamba executive iangalie kwa makini. Na maybe kama kuna hidden information yenye maybe hatujui sisi wenyewe, tunaweza ambiwa, lakini maybe this is not the right time kufanya reshuffle. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the member for Visoy, the Honorable Leader of Majority Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I raise to first of all really thank the House for the spirit of the debate in this matter of county importance. And of course, as Adalia stood, just to ensure and congratulate my senior for properly laying the order of county importance before this great House. Mr. Speaker, of course, this is an assembly of rules and regulations, and it is always very important that whatever we do in accordance, even as we keep on learning about our standing orders. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the members. The mic. The spirit of what is before us is important, and very important for that matter, because it touches on our wards and what we have been doing as far as projects are concerned, implementations. And this afternoon, of course, I've added a new connotation about the issue of bursaries, because to me, I would have looked the order admin in wholesome way. But it seems today the main thing that is paining the members is matters of bursary. Why I thank the members and appreciate the growth in terms of their contribution. One, we've had reshuffles before, Mr. Speaker. We had reshuffles of the CECs that came to us, and again, the House had almost the same spirit that we are today. We also had the reshuffles of the CEOs, and the House also had the same spirit that was also upcoming today. As I sit here, I'm happy, because if you had the mood of the House and the learning process, it is not really that this House wants to usurp the powers of the executive. And they have come out very clearly, Mr. Speaker, that it is not an issue of not doing the transfers, but it is an issue of when and the timing that the transfers have come in. To me, Mr. Speaker, that is a great move, because we have an history. And you all remember how we went on defending the transfers, the Mtuangu syndrome, and all that. And the House was not, it was not auguring so well for all of us. So today, Mr. Speaker, I congratulate these honorable members that they understand the roles and the divisions of the executive and what they are supposed to have done. I think as a leader, what the members have requested is not something that cannot be discussed. And it's important, even as we lie as also in the leadership with the executive, that the message will reach home to the executive, that the members have made a request recognizing the ability, the authority, and the powers that are vested within the executive, and they are requesting that they be given some times, so that they can be able to maybe finish what they had started or what the processes that they were doing with their own executives. So through the Speaker, honorable members, the message is home, and it will be well delivered to the executive. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Leader of Majority Party. Two things that are coming out in this matter that was presented by the Honorable Member for Olkaria is it's clear there is a transfer which is I've heard that it's wholesome, like it's affecting all the wards. The other thing that has come up is the issue of bursary. Out of those, there are also questions that are arising. One, the right time, like what would be the right time for transfers, and the members have said that they cannot take it upon themselves the powers, the legal mandate of the departments. So the question of when is the right time. Then there arises the issue of bursary, and the question is whether all the wards had balances or all the wards were being affected in looking at the issue of the balances that have been done and the applications that have been done by the residents of the various wards. Out of that, honorable members, this is urgent, and it's a situation whereby, as an assembly, we are not able to conclusively act without, of course, the mother department. And as such, we are going to put the request in form of a letter. However, the CCM for PSTD would need to appear before the Committee on Labor the soonest possible, so that the members or the committee can be able to raise the issue substantively. And out of that, we can have a response before this House on the issues that have been raised in that sitting and the way forward for that. So, honorable members, note that we are going to do a letter, latest tomorrow morning, the request that has been made, and also an invite for the CCM to appear before the said committee. Of course, after this, we are going to determine how soon that would happen, so that now, as a House, the membership of the Honorable House can have a way forward. Thank you. The Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In fact, we are hosting the CCM, Public Service Board, Public PSM, and the County Secretary, the County Attorney, and a line of executive members on issues to do with something else on 21st of this month, next Wednesday. So, because this is very urgent, I would request the honorable members who will be available on Wednesday at 11 to come and join us in the committee as we deliberate on the same. Thank you.
Thank you. The member for Eburu Baruk.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. But I would not want a room where they would say that is not what they were served for. But I'm happy it is on 21st and today is 14th. We have 7 days to tell them the other things they'll be responding to.
Thank you. That will be availed tomorrow in the morning. So this is an additional, apart from what they were invited to do, there will be an additional subject matter that they will be expected to respond to. I do not want to call you the mover, but the member for Olkaria.
I don't find any problem with that, because actually I introduced the debate in this assembly on this particular regard. Mr. Speaker, I'm just keen to note now what happens between now and the Labour Committee meeting these officers. I hope you have heard the spirit of the discussion by the members. I think it should be very clear and kind of persuasive information that we put on hold any transfers as of now before then, because it must have come up very clear, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, anything might happen in between here, and I'm not saying that it will happen, but I think it should be very clear that our advice to the executives, they hold on for anything until then that discussion has come up. I think it will be very important to clarify for avoidance of any doubt, so that again this house might not be taken for granted.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
There is a motion by the Leader of Majority Party.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we are aware that this House, Mr. Speaker, has had its sitting for quite some times after the short recesses which we had very recently. And Mr. Speaker, we have a calendar that the House adopted and even was published in the gazettes, Mr. Speaker. When we read the standing orders, number 31, subsection 3, it talks of on a day when the Assembly is scheduled to adjourn to a day other than the next normal sitting day in accordance with the Assembly calendar. The Leader of a majority or the Leader of Minority Party or any other member of the House Business Committee shall move a motion of adjournment, which shall be debated for not more than 3 hours, after which the Assembly, of course with the wisdom of the Speaker, is going to do a debate. Mr. Speaker, we realize that there has been many things that we have gone through as honorable members during the short time that we have been in this Assembly. Of course, we had the issues to do with agencies, where we as members even occasionally feared to go to the ground because we did not know what the agencies wanted to do. We have also had very great and good times during the short time that we have had, Mr. Speaker. There has been a lot of projects that are ongoing. We have handed over a lot of sites, and we need to go back and see and do our oversight role to see the way the projects are going on. And if there is value for money, for the works that are going on, so that at the end of the day, the very keen Gen Zs and the Wanjikos and the law cannot catch up with us because of sitting so much only in the assemblies, Mr. Speaker. In this regard, I wish to move a motion, Mr. Speaker, which is in accordance to Assembly, because you know Standing Order 31(1), of course, gives the power to the House Business Committee to create a calendar, which was adopted by the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move a motion that pursuant to our Standing Order, number 31, subsection 3, that this House adjourns from today, which is 14th of August, 2024, and resume its sittings on 10th of September, 2024. This, Mr. Speaker, is in accordance with the Assembly's calendar. Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that motion and request my colleague, the Deputy Leader of the Majority Party, to actually second the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the motion, and maybe I can make some contributions on the same and say that it's a good time that members will have ample time to interact with Wanjiko on the ground and also have enough time to do oversights on the projects that the executive are doing, and also we'll be able to get sentiments from Wanjiko, how far as it is now. We have finished now like our 2 years since you were elected. Now we are going to get now opinions from Wanjiko and maybe listen to what They are saying about so far how the executive has done the work on the ground, and when we come back, we shall represent them accordingly. Also, members will have a good time, maybe as people, their children will be going back to school, they'll have a good time to take them back to school and maybe do some shopping. However, it is good you note that, Mr. Speaker, that the current position members' pockets are very dry, and I just wish that they will have a good time on the ground, because it seems things are not very good pocket-wise. But I pray that all will be well, and they shall carry out their duties well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The motion is seconded, and the motion is that pursuant to Standing Order at 1.3, this House adjourn from today, 14th August 2024, and resumes on 10th September 2024 at 9, that is 10th September 2024, in accordance with the Assembly calendar. The motion is open for debate. We're going to allow the member for Viwandani, and the member for Malewa, and the member for Soin, in that order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I think it's good not to discuss something that is obvious. This motion is obvious, that this House adjourns today until 10th of September. I don't think we have much to add, other than you put it into question, and then we proceed to our recess. It doesn't matter how dry our pockets are. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, you heard us talking about our ward admins, so that we can go through our wards and projects for inspection. So, and because you've said that you are going to make a request by tomorrow, we believe that the executive will allow us during this recess time to have the need. So, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, the member for Viwandani. The member for Malewa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to echo what my Honorable Member Mongi Muraya have just said, that you just put it into question. Because by the look of the House, the mood of the House, every member wants to go and interact with his electorate and do his personal duties. So I find it prudent, Honorable Speaker, you put it into question and we proceed with other obligations ahead of us. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you for the views. I also want to bring it to the attention of members that this motion, the minimum time and the maximum time it allows is between 1 minute and 3 hours. And I think we are still within that. But then, that notwithstanding, your views are registered. The member for Soin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity you have given me. As I want to concur with my colleagues that you should put in question, let me put my input a bit. That this time, when we are on recess, it will give us, some of us, time to oversee what is going on other projects. Some of us, we did not finish our projects, so it will give us time so that we go and oversight and see what is going on in the Wanjiko area. The other issue also, I know the chairman of sports is happy because we shall have enough time to practice for the forthcoming CASA games. So I know this will be the right time for them to practice for the games. I'm also happy because I'll have time to be here to do some practices. Otherwise, I do support the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, the member for Soin. And honorable members, This House is adjourned from today, 14th August, and we will resume on 10th September 2024 at 9:30 a.m. So it's good to note that. And it's also good to note that the question for adjournment is not called. And so it's good to note the date. The House is hereby adjourned from today, 14th August, to 10th September this year at 9:30 a.m. So members be upstanding.